Hey y'all, welcome back to my kitchen, or welcome if you're new. My name is Bethany, or Budget Bethany, and I like to post these What's for Dinner videos every single week in hopes to give y'all some meal ideas to cook at home for your family as well. This week I'm going to be sharing 4 super easy weeknight dinners with y'all. Today's video is also in collaboration with Tiffany from Small Town 6, so after you get through watching my video, head on over to her channel and check her out as well, and I'll have everything in my description box just so that you can easily go access it. Also, if you're coming from Tiffany's channel, welcome, we're so glad to have you. Alright y'all, so to start off this week's What's for Dinner, we're going to be making some smothered pork chops and potatoes. So right here I've got some potatoes that I've already washed and diced up in the bottom of my baking pan. I've got a big family size can of cream of mushroom soup, but you could also use like 2 of the smaller cans. And then of course I've got some pork chops. You can use boneless or the kind that's got the bone in it. It doesn't really matter. I've used both. So right here I've got my seasonings that I'm going to season up my pork chops with. But before I do that, I wanted to go ahead and add half of that can of the cream of mushroom into my potatoes and just kind of make sure that all the potatoes get coated with that cream of mushroom mixture. Then I'm going to add in my pork chops on top of the potatoes, and then we're going to season those up. Once I had all of my pork chops all seasoned up, I went in with the remaining amount of the cream of mushroom soup, and I just dumped that right on top of the pork chops, and I'm going to use my spoon and kind of rub that around and make sure that all the pork chops get good and coated with the cream of mushroom mixture. So here's how it should look before you put it in the oven. You do want to make sure that you have everything good and coated with that cream of mushroom mixture just so that it doesn't dry out in the oven. Then you're going to pop this in the oven on 350 for about an hour. You might want to check it halfway through because I know everybody's ovens cook at different temperatures. But this is how mine turns out every single time. It's one of my family's favorites, and I highly recommend y'all giving it a try. And I'll have that linked in my description box just so that y'all can easily get that recipe. We also do like to pair this with a veggie sometimes, but on this night we did not. Alright, so up next we're going to be having some fried pork chop sandwiches and french fries. So I know I'm going to catch a little bit of hate, negativity about frying my pork chops. So we are going to be frying them in grease. We're going to flour them and fry them. Fried pork chop sandwich is pretty normal here in the South. I know a lot of people aren't used to deep frying a lot of things, but it's pretty normal here in the South. So all I've got right here is some boneless pork chops, and I seasoned them up really well with the seasonings that my family like. But of course, feel free to use whatever kind of seasonings that your family prefers. So right here I'm just coating them in flour, and I'm just coating them in all-purpose flour. Once they're good and coated in that flour, we're just going to drop them right into the skillet with our hot grease and let those fry up. And I do fry them on both sides. I flip them about halfway through. I let it fry 5 or 10 minutes on one side and flip it, let it fry for 5 or 10 minutes on the other side. And then I also do toast my buns just a little bit in a skillet with some butter, and then I just rub some mayonnaise on there, and then I put me a slice of pepper jack cheese, but of course you could use whatever kind of cheese you prefer. And then I just put the pork chop on there, and dinner was served. Alright, so moving into the next dinner for this week, we're going to be making like a Chinese/Japanese inspired dinner, or I guess you would kind of say like a steak stir fry. But all you'll need is some thinly sliced steak strips, and then we're going to season them up with some garlic powder, some onion powder, some Morton seasoning oil, and a little bit of this Dale's steak seasoning. We're going to dump it all into our little pot or a pan, whatever you prefer to cook it in. I'm just dumping all the steak right in there, and I do got a little bit of olive oil drizzled in the bottom of my pan just to make sure that it doesn't stick or anything like that. I just kind of let the steak cook down just a little bit, and then I'll start adding in all the ingredients. And I'm going to also add in some soy sauce. I forgot to mention that earlier, but I do add some soy sauce. Then I'm going to go in with that Dale's steak seasoning. And then I'll just kind of let that marinate and soak up all the flavors into the steak. And then once I get all of that steak cooked and all the flavors are incorporated, I'm going to remove the steak from my pot. So I did leave my burner going while I was removing the steak from the pot, but I did leave it on a low medium heat, and then I'm just going to throw in my carrots and my broccoli and kind of let those simmer and cook until they're good and soft, and let all the flavors from that soy sauce and that steak seasoning that we cooked our meat in get into the carrots and the broccoli as well. And then once our carrots and broccoli are done, we're going to add our steak back into the pot with the carrots and broccoli and just kind of let those all get mixed up and incorporated together. I also cooked a pot of white rice. You might have seen it in a few of the clips that have already passed, but I did cook some white rice as well, and then I just served the meat and the vegetables on top of that bed of rice. And then we also like to drizzle a little bit of Yumyum sauce on top of it, and actually Piggly Wiggly has their own brand now, so I wanted to share that with y'all, because if you watch my grocery hauls, then you see that I like to shop at Piggly Wiggly a lot, so I wanted to share that with y'all in case you have a Piggly Wiggly local to you. You can also find Yumyum sauce there now. Ain't that so cool? But anyway, I just drizzled that on top and dinner is served. Alright, so moving into the final dinner for this week, we're going to be making some deer tacos. So we have some fresh processed venison right here. I'm just going to dump that into my skillet and get to browning that up just like you would do ground beef. And I'm going to season it up with some hardcore carnivore Tex-Mex seasoning, some minced onion, some garlic powder, and some of this Sazon Goya seasoning.
You look at me like I'm crazy when I shut my feelings out. You look at me like I'm different, still you stick.
And then I just kind of break it up just like you would ground beef. And then I'm going to add in just a little bit of seasoning from taco seasoning packet that you can find at Walmart. And I'm just going to be using the Great Value brand. And I'll also go in with a little bit of lime juice. But if you have been watching me and you're a regular, then you know that my voice sounds kind of crazy this week. And that's because we have been sick over here in our household, and pretty much my whole family is sick. So if y'all would just kind of whisper a prayer for us so that we can get back to good health. And if you've been sick, affected with all the stuff that's going on in this world, I'll be praying for you as well. So I just kind of let this meat brown up, and then once it's brown, we'll just top it on some tortillas just like you would normal tacos. Here's how it looked once it was all done. And then we have all the fixings for a normal taco: lettuce, tomatoes, cheese, sour cream, salsa, whatever you want. We've got it for our deer tacos as well. And I also made some Mexican rice. But y'all, that's it for this week's What's for Dinner. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, as always, please don't forget to leave me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. Also, don't forget to go check out Tiffany's video from today, and I will catch you all in the very next one. Bye, y'all.
We're pouring cup after cup after cup. Yeah, it's just the way we do it. Anything just to block out the real life.